Okay, this is just a quick run through of the basics of using the combat and initiative model out of Foundry for the One Ring, second edition, which I'm also running along with Wolfrop. So this is pretty good too, a little bit more finicky than the Wolfrop one, but actually once you've got it working, it's pretty solid. So a couple of heads ups. Okay, so I've already added some tokens to my combat sheet and you can see them right here, hopefully. We have Eorith in the background there, the Ranger, who I'll just put here. We have Mulgrim, who was a dwarf, and we have an Atacop, who's already taken some damage. So what I'm going to do is just add another Atacop in. Love the Atacops. Okay, so we've now got two Atacops in just to make it a bit more interesting. Okay, so same way to add people to a combat as before, and an important thing to note, let me just right click and take that away. So yeah, something really important to understand is the way combat works in the One Ring is you get one round of opening volley and then you get actual combat. You may not get the opening volley all the time, but when we start the encounter, it defaults everyone to rearward stance so that they can use their ranged weapons. That's a deliberate decision, and then once the combat starts, you'll see that we can change their combat stances. So I'm using the combat sheet, which I think is quite helpful. So you have the four stances of rearward, defensive, open, and forward, and then you have adversaries on the side. So let's just begin by making them all in combat. So if I go in, and you can see instantaneously I have that rearward stance appearing. And we'll also add the two Atacops in. And we're not worried about the fact that that one's got less hit points than normal, because this is just a quick run through. Okay, so we now have the four things. Now, the other thing about the One Ring is, of course, we don't have a concept of initiative per se. Usually the GM just decides, and usually it's the party who goes first, so that's what we're going to follow. So if we can just begin the opening, so we click on opening volley, and then we go to Eorith. Now we've got to target an opponent, so Eorith targets that Atacop. We double click on the character sheet. Now if we just roll the skill, all that happens is we get a skill roll, and I'll show you what that means. So I roll it, bang, up it comes, I have a roll. It's just like normal skill roll. Sorry about the animation, I got a bit creative. We're not going to do that, we're going to use a weapon. Now, because I've got the Atacop targeted, I don't get the error messages I would otherwise get. If you don't have an opponent targeted, you'll get this error message saying you haven't targeted someone, so just remember that. Okay, so same as before, we're in rearward stance, we're using a bow, it'll let me roll, and I failed. So that is Eorith done. Then Mulgrim is going to go next. So we'll double click on Mulgrim. He's also in rearward stance. Does he have a ranged weapon? He's got a short spear which he can throw, so that's a yes. He's going to roll it. He's going to throw it at the same one for the sake of this conversation. He's also going to miss because he rolled abysmally. They don't have ranged weapons, at least not right now, so let's just begin the combat. Okay, so now that we've begun the combat, what you'll see straight away is when I right click on the character, I get my different combat stances, which is super cool because they actually apply. So the dice modifiers, they get applied when I click on it. So if I put Eorith in forward stance, so I'll put him in that forward stance box there, and I'm going to have Mulgrim hold the line on defensive stance. Okay, so when I roll Eorith, it's his turn first, so I'm going to double click on Eorith. Eorith is going to go down to their weapon skill. They're going to go past that, and they're going to say, I'm using my Grievous two-handed sword, two-handed as opposed to one-handed. You can see I'm getting a bonus die. That's coming from the fact that I'm in forward stance, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to roll. Ooh, and I got an additional success, which is just lit up here, and if you have a look, you can see that on the thing. Oh, did not come through. Oh, because I haven't chosen. So I'm going to choose that one there. For some reason, it is not working. Don't know why that's not working. Oh, no, I have to hit the submit button. Right. Okay. Now, so I can go... what you can see here is I can select on it. I've got this whole little readout in the chat box now. So Eorth attacks it. I can right-click on that, and I get up these pop-ups, so I can apply the damage automatically to the creature. And then you can see that it needs to make, because I got a grievous blow, it needs to make a protection roll to not take a wound. So I can just roll that like so. So that's a left click on that protection roll. It rolls, it fails, it takes the wound. Now, if we have a look at the monster, and sorry, I'll have to close a few things so you can see what's happening. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Oh, we don't have its stats up. So one, yeah, it's not so helpful. Let's go with putting up its current endurance in bar 1, and let's put its current hate in, oh, actually, let's put its current might in the second one. Okay. So now, it's not looking good. So I have zero endurance left, and I have, of course, also taken a wound, which means I am a dead spider. I should be able to work out which one that is. Yeah, it's this one. So I just click on that, dead. All right. So now I'm going to untarget that, and I'm going to go to this one because Morgrum's going to have his go. Now he is in defensive stance, which means he will be less effective in combat. He's going to use his fell sword for this one. You can see that it's automatically applying that penalty die because I'm in defensive stance. So I will roll, and only roll 2 dice. That is a feat dice and 1 success die because I'm taking that 1 point of penalty. I failed, no big surprises. Now it's the Atacop's turn. Now I'm going to get the Atacop to target. Going to untarget the monster and target that. And it's only happening really because I'm rolling everything, and I'm going to get it to do a sting attack. It's its go, by the way. So we'll just make that clear by moving the combat along here, and then we're going to hit the sting. See, I'm getting that bonus die because they're in forward stance, which means they are less defensive. That is, Eorth is less defensive, and when I roll, I get that, which does not look all that promising. No, because I missed the parry number of Eorth, so even with that in mind, it is not looking good. So that's how combat works, right? Like it's the One Ring. It's very simple. There's a toing and froing on that basis. I think the one thing, just to show you what happens if you don't do it properly. So if I don't target Eorth and I try that again, if I try and hit the sting, I get this message. Please need to select one and only one token to attack. So you can see it's automatically picking up that I didn't have anyone targeted, and so it's not letting me do that. So if you see that message pop up, that's why, because you haven't targeted someone. So it's pretty fast and it's pretty sweet. It's a nice implementation. You can obviously also be weary, wounded, or so forth. So for instance, I could make my spider weary. If I do that and I target this guy, we'll just note that I am now weary. If I roll my sting, as you know, anything that I roll as a 1, 2, or 3 will actually not count. So I rolled a 1 and a 3, and you can see that my target, because I was weary, see how it's done it? So there's only the 1 and the 5. The 3 and the 1 have not been counted, which gives me a total value of 6, which is nowhere near good enough. So very elegant. By the way, to select and unselect weary, you need to hit the Alt key and the left click to apply that. Okay, that's it. That's how the combat interface works. It's really simple. It's very nice. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.